All right, here it is. Giving away for free everything about the zones that made me money this week. One specific name, QQQ. Let's get into it. This is education at its finest, RicoCap University. Sit down, lock in. Let's get into it right now. So QQ is going to be the name that we're going to be focusing on because I traded more of Q this week. I took maybe 9 to 10 trades, all winners, no misses this week. And all of the trades went usually around 100 to 500%, which is absolutely crazy. Now, sometimes that's usual, sometimes that's unusual, depending on the week. Doesn't matter. This week was just one of those where we had a lot of good price action. If you knew where to be, then you made a lot of money. So starting off Monday, you can see right here, I'm on the hourly time frame. Yes, I trade on the hourly, I trade on the 15, I trade on the 4 hour. That's it. Daily sometimes if I'm checking, but I don't really trade the daily like that. I'm on the 15 at the lowest, hourly, and 4 hour. Usually I stay around the hourly though. That's going to be a big move right there. Just know that the higher time frames are bigger moves. Smaller time frames are smaller moves. That's what you're looking at. So first, Monday was so easy. I'm on live and I told the team this was so simple because we've had a full last week or the previous week of just selling off. Things were still very weak. We're heading into earnings, so a lot of uncertainty, and I expected us to kind of stay in a range. You can see right here though, I mean, pretty easy, but we just gapped up, and we gapped up perfectly to my blue level, which is that 695 level. And the reason why I say this or highlight this 695 level right now, not only because we smacked it and sold off, sure, but this is going to be a very important level going into this week. Again, you wouldn't know that on Monday, but it's always good to have your levels. So you can see that we gapped up, we hit that level, and I'm on live. As we kind of started seeing a little bit selling off pre-market right at open, this was a no-brainers puts at open. At open, Monday morning, 1 minute into open. I made a video about this already. I slammed puts with the team, and we caught a banger puts that ended up going super in the money, all the way coming down to 675. So from 692 all the way down to 675 in an hour and a half move is absolutely insane. So we banked really heavily on that. We knew that there was going to be some support here, and as you can see, we kind of just hit that and then kind of fluttered for the rest of the day. Super simple. Next day, pretty simple as well. We caught more puts. We gapped down and we did not open up above that 677 level. We did have support here, but once we broke that, we started kind of knifing down, and that was very simple to just take puts on that move down, knowing we're still very much weak. So you can see that, again, the next day we knifed down in that same area. We opened up, again, very easy puts all the way down and made newer lows for the week. Very simple. More earnings started coming out this day, and you can see where Microsoft eventually did hold the market, where we did blast up. I didn't touch SpyQ this day, which was Thursday. I actually took Intel calls for the upside that absolutely banked at open. Super fast, super awesome. And then I take us here to Friday, which was, again, we gapped up. At open, we slammed calls for a move because we did see buyers hit the tape, and we broke above our 692 level. We ran to 695, almost 696. Basically, I was targeting this 695 level. Now, why am I mentioning that? Because that is the same exact level that we ended up slapping on Monday, pre-market overnight, at ended up selling off. So again, that was my all-out target. Be there. We're aiming for that. We slammed calls. We got over $80, $90 a contract, and then looked at puts as we, again, told the team pre-market we might reject this pretty heavily and come right back down in the range. We did exactly that. Team absolutely banked with me. No misses. We traded a lot of just QQ because it was a very easy kind of movement to predict. Why do I say that? Well, again, the levels told us that. We stayed in a lot of these ranges. The RicoCap zones help us to the T understand where buyers are at, where sellers are at. And that just kind of helps us put us on the right side of the trade. Now, you could have taken these trades and still been in the right direction, right? Tell me if you guys did take the some puts and it didn't work for you, or calls and it didn't work for you, even though SpyQ went in your direction. Let's talk about option selection, right? A lot of these options that I selected that we banked pretty heavily were maybe 1, 2, 3 strikes out of the money, and they are not a target that was, crazy, right? Right up here when we played calls, I took these 696s knowing these should go at the money or in the money. My level was 695.93, knowing they should go right at the money, right? especially if we're down here at 691. They're decently cheap, even though contracts were a little bit juiced from earnings for SPY and Q, but it doesn't matter. The furthest I was willing to go out is that 696 area. Again, it moved fast. It worked perfectly. And then as it started coming down, the lowest I would want to go would have been right here, even though I knew we'd probably come right down to 684, 685-ish to close the daily gap. I was telling the team, don't get too greedy. I think right here would be my target out. Demand zone, right? Zone to zone. I'm not going to get too crazy. So the lowest strike I would have gone was 686. 688 was there, was perfectly priced as, this push up kind of decreased or, took away the value of those puts. So again, very, very good stuff knowing that. So I want you guys to focus on that. I have rules when it comes to even option selection. And I have this in my channel or in Discord for all members when they see and sign up. So a lot of stuff, what I say is if you're sticking to the zones, focus on 2 or 3 names, right? SPY QQ would be the easiest. I give these zones out free every single night to members. In Discord, you have the game plans above here, calls, below here, puts. And I want you guys to understand that, when I do take these plays, I'm really not going lottos unless I know it's going to be a really big move. I'm going 1 day, 2 days expiration unless, again, they're very juiced. Sometimes it does get kind of expensive. No further out than 3 strikes. I'm not going super far out, dirt cheap contracts. I would rather pay a little bit of premium for something that's in the money or at the money to capture the move that's going to, kind of come out. And so I ideally would want it around $100 a contract, $100 a contract. I don't mind paying up to 200 contract, but I'm not going anything lower than like 90, 80, depending on what time of day is. And usually when I'm taking my trades, it's going to be at open here, so I'm not looking for that. One thing you guys need to understand too is I also am trimming into the move. I am selling as this move is happening. As we're pulling down, I am unloading my shares off to late traders that are trying to pile into this trade and are willing to pay a premium or market orders. And so I can set my limit sells. I can set kind of higher pricing and they will get filled because of the demand that is going up as this move is unwinding. So that's another trick that I use to kind of maximize my gains as well. And I'm systematically trimming, like I said, 10, 20, 30, 40%, leaving runners. And this was just kind of a prime example of that where, during the week we had runners that were just running. And I was like, all right, perfect. This is already up to 300%. I'll sell the runner here. I don't care. Or trailing stop, let it go, and keep going until it stops you out for a really good gain. That's one way how I do things. This market hasn't really been rewarding that, but as of this past week, it has. So again, that's another one way I do things. Now, I'm taking 1 to 2 to max 3 trades a day. That's why I said I took 9 to 10 trades this week. Max, I'm taking 3 trades in a day, max. First trade on Monday was a banger. We went heavy on the first trade, and that was it. So it started off very well, very slow just because of one trade, but I'm going super heavy on my first trade. That's my rules. I'm going super heavy size on my first trade because statistically my win rate on the first trade is damn near 100%. I'm king of the open for a reason. I'm winning off that. I'm making a bulk of my money. From there, if I do take a second trade, it's going to be half the size. It's going to be a quarter of the size. And then if I do take a third trade, it's going to be lotto size. What does lotto mean? Lotto size means 1 to 3 contracts, 1 to 5 contracts, nothing crazy. If I put in $300, say I buy 3 contracts for $100 each on some lotto size midday, it's my third trade, 3 contracts, it's $300. If I'm up $1,500 on the day and those 3 contracts go to 0, I'm still up $1,200 on the day. That's the whole point. It's not about how much money you can make or whatever the case may be. It's about risking, handling your risk, and it's about understanding, your strategy as well. As it gets later in the day, price action kind of slows down, and so trading gets a little bit tougher. And that's why I say, if your system is there, if your strategy is there, and it says you're good to take a trade, I would still size it down. Especially if you're playing with lottos or 1-day expirations or, very, very short dated calls or puts, whatever it is. So again, and here it is. After every red day that I've had, what I do is I go focus on the zones. I go focus on a trade with the zones, get green. Doesn't matter how much money I make, just get back green and get back in the groove of sticking to your rules and winning and things like that. That's one way how I do things. Again, these zones I give out to the members every single night, game plans for SPY and QQ. And I get it. Look at this. I mean, perfect. SPY came down to all the way to 738, 737 on Friday, bounced all the way back up. Where did it run? Where did it run? Oh, perfectly. It ran to 748 area, which was my 748, 749 zone. Notice how it slapped it and then rejected out, and in the close came all the way back down to this demand. This is not random stuff, guys. These are levels I work continuously. So this is how I'm profitable. This is how I win. This is how I continuously know where the market is at all times. How I made this strategy is pretty simple. The market tells you. These are levels. I have a trained eye. I've been doing this for 9, almost 10 years, so I have a trained eye. Now, for the average trader that doesn't have a trained eye, that doesn't really know what they're looking at, that's perfect. I have now an indicator of the zones. You can just go on TradingView, plop this down on your chart, and it automatically sets it down for you perfectly, right? You can see for Amazon here, Amazon released earnings, blasted out of this demand, ran all the way on the Friday, 271 area. There's a supply zone. You can see it hit that pretty perfectly, and it completely kind of, rejected out. You can see right there, rejected out, came down, came right back up, trying to kind of retest it and get out of that range. But, you know where buyers are at, where sellers are at, to be able to be in the right place at the right time. Let's take a look at some of these other names. Again, these are just, I'm on the 15-minute right now, get on the hourly. These are the RicoCap zones, and it's perfect. It's perfect. I'm still working on them. You can see it's still a work in progress. Sellers up there, rejected, came down to buyers, held, came right back up to sellers. Boom, 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 boom. These are perfect, to be able to, kind of hold and look at. And these are for, the average trader that, kind of needs that help a little bit. But again, you can easily know where buyers are at right here. Blast this up, sellers, rejected, up here, then come down, buyers, and you know where you're at. Right, red zone sellers, green zone buyers, and it helps you out a lot with price action. So again, indicator, it is not live yet. It is about to be though, and the first people that are going to get it are the RicoCap members. So if you're not a member, consider signing up, consider becoming a member, consider trading with me. I make things very easy trading live. I make things very easy for my trade channel in my Discord. I do have a low tier membership. Just pay, it's like $50 a month, and you get access to my trades and RicoCap AI, which is a whole different story. That's a whole different beast and a whole different tool that helps us with winning. So one of the functions of RicoCap AI, not only calling out banger plays and swing trades on the daily, is it also has an opening explosion play. So it tells us when the premiums are really moving with the move. On Friday, it told us QQ premium, put premiums were absolutely paying. It monitors the option chain real time, and it tells you if the premiums are moving with the move. There's nothing worse than seeing a move kind of happen and the option chain's not moving with it. That's a huge red flag. I know that from experience. And so I wanted something to let me know, hey, if Q's pulling down here and the premiums are absolutely moving with it, I want something to let me know. I want something to tell me, hey, this is working. You can be making money with this. Don't second guess it. So obviously we banked heavily on Q on Friday, and it's another one of those functionalities that helps us a lot. So of course, all members get access to RicoCap AI as well. So pretty good stuff. Again, RicoCap zones coming soon to everybody, but first it is going to be the RicoCap members, and of course they're automatic. You plop them on, indicator. You put them on RicoCap zones, and they immediately, show up onto your, chart. Easy stuff, and it works for everything, right? Gold, silver, all our indexes, any type of name, oil. Good move on oil there. VIX, so anything you need, SPY-X as well. So anything you need, it really does help. Any type of chart you have, it's going to do it. So awesome stuff. Anyways, this is kind of episode 1 of RicoCap University. I'm going to be making more of this and just keep diving in more and more and more. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if y'all need anything, and I'll see you guys on the next video.